I just wanted to address a couple of things, and also there's not going to be any scary stories or anything really in this upload. So if you're not looking for that, if you don't want to listen to this kind of quote unquote disclaimer or whatever you want to call it, yeah, I'll see you in the next episode on Tuesday. You can just click off now. This episode's not even going to be monetized. It's literally just going to be me kind of not venting, but just addressing a few things and addressing a small niche core, part of my audience, if it applies to you or not. So yesterday I released the Deepwood stories, and I don't really spend a lot of time in the comment section hardly anymore. I might for the first hour or so, but then, there's enough that I can't keep up with it, and address and respond back to everybody. I apologize. Hopefully that doesn't upset you, but I really don't spend too much time. But there is kind of a thread or an ongoing thing that I am seeing constantly, maybe not necessarily constantly, but occasionally I do run across it in certain episodes when it kind of calls for it. So yesterday there was a story, the very first story in yesterday's episode, where it's kind of a running, not necessarily a running theme, but something that does happen a lot in the stories that I read, where there's not really a resolution. There's not really, you don't get that dopamine hit of Hollywood, where the story just comes back into a full circle and the White Knight comes in and saves the day. Unfortunately, that is not the reality that we live in. We don't live in a fantasy world. We are in reality. And I know some of you know that, and it seems like some of you don't know that. I will not be, unless there's actually like within the story that I actually read, and even if there was, I'd probably skip it. If there is like some kind of sexual assault or actually rape or something to that effect within the story that actually happened with 100% certainty, I would 100% put some kind of disclaimer or trigger warning at the front of an episode. So, if you don't want to listen to that part, that's totally acceptable. No worries whatsoever. But this is a scary stories channel. That's what you're here for, or what I would assume that you're here for. And I know a lot of you don't think every story is scary. You don't think it's creepy. You don't think it's unsettling. You don't think it's spooky. And that's totally fine. You are 100% entitled to your opinion. And that's the way it should be. You don't have to like every story. And I wouldn't expect you to, because sometimes I don't even like every story. But there's also a portion, like some of y'all, we read way too much into the titles of these episodes. So I'll give you a little background information and a little peek behind the curtain. There is an app called vidIQ that helps me with my channel, helps me package and title and put good descriptions and stuff like that within videos to help garner more attention. And when I put in my idea, like yesterday, 3 Deepwood stories with fire and haunting ambience, and sometimes they'll pick out titles like yesterday, 3 spooky stories, and spooky stories would have been or is a high volume search on YouTube. And it tells me that you have this keyword, spooky stories or disturbing or unsettling or scary stories, is a high search volume keyword on YouTube. So I will input that into my title and put it first or at the top of the title, so that it hopefully garners more attention, because when you or anybody else on YouTube searches in that search bar, spooky stories, scary stories, disturbing stories, my episode is the first one that comes up. I'm not necessarily saying that all of these stories are spooky or unsettling or disturbing or scary, because I know a lot of you don't think that, and that is totally fine. That's not the problem. This whole video, just basically, I wanted to address and have a conversation with a small portion of you who actually care, who actually have, like genuine curiosity, like, why are you titling this spooky? Or that's not necessarily a scary story. Why do you think that's scary? Like, I'm just trying to level with you and explain to you why I do that. And even though I don't necessarily have to do this, and I don't know too many creators that will do this, they just kind of like read it and move on. But I want to be on the level with you guys. I want to talk to you. I want to listen to you, especially if it's a genuine concern or a genuine idea or something that you want me to potentially do in the future, or you even just need clarity on why I do the things that I do, or why I will continue to do the things I do. I don't necessarily have to answer to you, but I want to, because I want this to be, a community. and not just a non-existent relationship between me and you like most creators are out there, where they just put it out and you listen whether you like it or not. And let's circle back around to another point that I think definitely needs mentioned. All the stories on my channel are allegedly true. I have no idea if they're true or not. I cannot validate any of them. I hope they're true. I like to believe that they're true, but I don't know if they are. I really honestly, genuinely have no idea if they're really true or not. I just take it at face value from what Zach's given to me when he finds the stories. So it could be true, might not be true, might all be just, bullshit. But at the end of the day, what I think also really needs mentioned is what happened in that story, whether you want to admit it or not, like it or not, whatever you want to call it, is the reality that we live in. That is the world that we live in. If you are ever in a serious situation like that, where it's fight, flight, or freeze, and shit's going south, what is your initial reaction? I guarantee most of you have never actually been in a situation like that, so that's why you question it so much. Not everybody's a hero. Not everybody's a white knight. I can tell you with 100% certainty, myself included. I'll give you a prime example of this. The first time I was ever shot at, what do you think I did? Didn't turn into John Rambo. Didn't turn into Billy Badass. Didn't turn into, SEAL Team 6. I froze. I completely froze. And I had to get brought back to reality by my NCO, smacking me in the face, letting me know to wake up, get your shit together. Shit is going down. Like, I need you to help me so I can help you. Like, that's exactly what happens to not everybody, but it happened to me. And I guarantee it happens to plenty of people, like potentially that guy in that first story where he just froze, didn't know what to do, even though if he had a gun. It's a sad, awful reality, man. Especially if something bad did potentially happen to that girl. Nobody's condoning that type of behavior, especially me. Like, that's not okay. But that is the world we live in, man. It's a cautionary tale. It is a cautionary tale. And it's the world and the reality around us right now is that not everybody is a hero. This isn't Hollywood. These stories aren't always going to have this perfectly wrapped thing where you open it up and you listen to it and now you get that resolution at the end and there's a hero and the story is packaged and neat and just comes all together and comes full circle and it's perfect. That was fantastic. Oh, such a good story. No, I'd say 75, 80% of the stories you hear on my channel are going to be real stories. There are going to be things like that story yesterday on that episode where you don't get a resolution. You actually are more irritated after you listen to that story because you think, man, why didn't you do more? Why didn't you help that girl? Why didn't you do this? Because it's easy to backseat quarterback, and put yourself in that situation. What would you have really done? Now, I know there's a good amount of people out there that would have, acted appropriately, that would have responded in the right way. And that's what I like to think I would have done too. And I'm sure that's what you like to think that you would have done too. But that's not always the reality. That's not life. That's not the world we live in. I'm sorry. It's just not, because not everybody is going to step up when shit goes south. You might fight, you might go to flight, or you might freeze. Sorry, I went on a little bit of a rant there. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. I really genuinely do. To those who have concerns that want to hear, why I do this or why this is happening, I was going to text it back in some of the comment section, but I figured this would actually be a better approach. So I can just me talking to you directly and letting you know why I do the things that I do, why I feel the way I feel, and why I tell the stories on here that I tell. I hope you understand. I hope you continue to listen, because every single one of you means the world to me that you do. Even if you hate the stories, even if you don't really like the channel, but you continue to listen, I appreciate you, man. I really do. It means the world to me. I can't even fathom and or believe that I'm at the level that I am now, and I'm still just a tiny ass channel, but I'm continuing to grow. I'm hoping my content gets better. I'm hoping you just come along for the ride and enjoy it for what it is, and understanding, or that we have an understanding now and can have this moving forward. Like, if the episode and or story really genuinely needs a trigger warning disclaimer type of thing, I will 100% put it at the top of the episode. But last week did not need it. And I just wanted to put all this out there and talk to that small portion of you directly that really genuinely cares and wants to know and wants to have answers to this instead of just having some lame back and forth through text in the comment section where half of it really would have went flat anybody anyway, and I couldn't really express what I needed to express. I truly love every single one of you, even if you hate this channel, even if you're always super negative in there, that's totally fine. Again, you're entitled to your opinion and the way you feel and the things that you like and the things that you don't like. But if you do like this channel, if you do like the stories, if you do like everything, whatever, I appreciate you. I really do. And I hope I can keep you listening. I hope I can continue to grow and make better content moving forward and make each episode better than the last. I don't really know what else to say. Again, I love you all. I really, really do. I can't remember what Tuesday's episode is, but I'll see you then, right? Have a fantastic weekend. Cheers.